Good morning, everyone. This is Rose. Today is October 6th, 2 minutes after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Just a quick audio and video check. Okay. Employment situation on Friday. News came out in 8:30, and pretty much it's testing these lows right now, and this is the ETA charts, 5 minutes. So, but huge gap. I was hoping that this would be other way around, but news is news, and market will react to it. However, basically this is all decided, so there's no way of thinking, well, it might go up, it might go down. The only reason yesterday that I was bullish, or I thought maybe we would need to go back up a little bit so that we could sell again. Instead, we're going to actually open up right around here. So market is around 42.50 area. But one thing that I was sure of, market either will test the high of this outside bar, or it's going to test the low of this outside bar. So news, flip a coin, they've decided to sell, fine. You basically react to it. You don't predict it, but I made my prediction by looking at the price action. So if they don't want to go up, that means they definitely want to test the outside bar. We still have a target, but so we've tested the outside bars low once, and this is trap zone, but it's better if we test once and then we reverse back up. So basically, let's see how far we came down. We came down to 42.42 area, 42.42.25. So that is right inside the trap zone. Trap zone, I said, is from 11% to the minus 11%. So we literally tested, we might have even tested a little bit outside. Okay, so we did test a little bit of outside, exceeded. Now market is actually breaching, but we didn't obviously close. For next week, we might actually come all the way down to here. Here, perhaps this area of interest is important. And I kept saying, we really need to thoroughly test this area. But today is Friday, so let's take a look at the weekly. We are testing this area of interest. I do have a target here, measured move. Market could keep selling into this area. If we do close this week really bearish, let's see, 1, 2, pull back. Maybe we could come back and test this area before we buy. So there's no buy signal bar like this, okay, from this area, or like any of these. So how far can we go on the daily? Can market actually sell today all the way to 35, maybe even further down? I don't know. I think if we do come down, this is where we could bounce. Instead of coming down here, this is where we could bounce. So we are still moving down, but on the, so let's take a look at hourly. So let's see, we've tested the 42.42. So that's around in this area. So we broke this, we're in here. If we keep selling, we're gonna try to test 42.25 or 42.12. I mean, market could still continue to sell. But my only problem here is this range low. So either you look at it from the ETA chart, or if we do keep selling, we could end up, I don't know if we could come down here. We're not so far from it. And you can see I have alternative is expanding triangle trend lines. Market will open up gap down. We might get some selling only to reverse back up. So we have rather large gap down with a huge range. We didn't break below this. This is from yesterday. I didn't touch this. I found it while I was reviewing this chart. And you can see we tested this. So we have no 15-minute bar closing below. Now, that's because it's too low. We're testing these lows. We could go up a little bit and then sell back if we do break at the open Globex low. So I'm going to look to see if we can actually come all the way down here. However, this is the area where everyone might be buying because it's very low. There's a gap here. We've closed this gap, but not all the way. So from that body open, see that this gap is still open. Some may argue that this gap is closed, but there's no overlapping of bodies. So we could go up if we can find some sellers. We can come back and retest. And so very parabolic move down, super, well, I should say climactic. So it's probably sellers up here, probably sellers right around here. And if we do come down and finally close this gap, we could actually test the lows, and that could bring us all the way down here, maybe even a little bit below further. I don't know if we're going to be trimming this trend line, but I'm going to look to see if there are any sellers here, whether or not we could get some kind of a bear flag. Can we actually reverse right back up? Can we get a V-shaped recovery? I don't think so. Maybe we need to come down a little bit, down, 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 and then I would look to buy. But what if we start to recover just now? Then I'm going to look for reversal up, but still 50% of this large range from the lower 1/3 to 50%, sellers are waiting. If we start to create some kind of a reversal back up early on, whether it's in some kind of a channel grinding up or small pullback bull trend, something, I might even consider market going all the way to 42.80, 150 area. Eventually, there are sellers up here and right around here. But right now, we're gapped down. We have a little bit more room. There's a gap that hasn't been closed yet, so the market could be wanting to come and test these lows before we reverse back up. So I'm not going to buy this right away. I'm going to look for trap for bulls to trap the bears. Then I'm going to look to buy. So big reaction, but it's a trading range. Some will think that this is good enough. Let's keep this gap a little bit open, and this is good enough to keep buying. Well, I can still locate the trap, but it isn't set up yet. So this is now going sideways, and one big bar started us, let's see, small, but this, let's see. Yeah, that is the news bar, small and then big. You have 3 bear bars with a huge gap, most likely sideways and more down. So we might get leg 1, leg 2, maybe even a small leg 3. So it could be something like this. And then we start to go back up. So I'm going to be targeting that, targeting 33% of this big and the 50%, maybe even 66% of this big bar right here. Okay. Yesterday, before we go through this chart again, I'm going to take a look at the news. So we have sometime noon, Fed members, Christopher Waller is going to speak. I'm sure they're going to talk about this, employment. I'm not sure though. I don't know, but generally Biden makes comments, so market will be listening to that. We have a 3 o'clock consumer credit. So end of the day, we might get some interesting moves. So be careful, because today's Friday. Market could reverse this if we do not agree if market doesn't agree, it's a great place to buy after all, right? So I would say, see, we're already testing this area, and where are the sellers? They try to sell, but no breakout. Now we're getting above. So does that mean market is trying to reach the levels that I talked about? Let's take a look. So I'm going to measure this bar, and that's the 33% right there. And as we get closer to it, we start to stall. You know, some sellers are there. Strong bar. It's trying to get a breakout. If this bar gets a breakout, we're definitely going to test the 33. Now, if we keep going higher, yeah, then 50% test is next, depending on where this bar closes. But you see how we're stalling here? Let's see what happens right there. Early sellers are there. We might need to get double tops, or we come down. We might even get a triple top before coming back down again. So the only reason why I would expect buyers, because it's such a great place, both on the ETH and RTH. It's kind of an expanding triangle also, even you can see it right there. Overshoot. But that is not, well, I guess you could use that. Yep. This would work. Overshoot, overshoot. Then this low, testing, and then now we tested that. So where else can we go? Well, 33%, we've gotten very close. But if we get a bear bar, then that's good. There will be sellers, but I'm not so sure. We now have a gap here. So I'm looking for a double top, some kind of a reversal here. Bears to try to sell, but if we get another bull bar, so we have another bull bar, but it's not a breakout from this, but it's still a bull bar. It might be still trying to reach the 33%. There's nothing to sell there. Reach the 33%. There's nothing to sell there. So this is a 20 point right here, and 21, the top of the 21 is 33%. So there you go. They're still trying to get there. So reversal already started, but it's going to come back down and probably going to test around here to buy. Wow, recovery already started. So you can see how they're trying to breach the 33% and close a bull bar and then move up to here. Now ATR is pretty strong. It's on the ETH chart, it's actually 8 points and 3/4, almost 9 points. So you can see that it's exceeding these levels, but it still needs to pull back a little bit. If they do close the bar above 33%, then they're going to keep going higher. Probably sellers will be there. Yeah, that was a nice 20 point. I did buy as well, just to see how we're going to handle that. First I measured, okay, about 10 points. Once I see this bar, bull bar closing above 6, I was like, okay, this is great. This 10 points, scalp. Let it go up higher. That's 14, 15. Now you have 20. Now it's trying to exceed. It's trying to get to 26, 25, and 26. If it does close above, it's definitely going to reach the 50%. So that'll be your 30 point. 29 and a 30 a little bit above. But generally, you do get some profit taken around 50, 25 point, 26 point. So if they exceed it and close above 26, then they're not only they're going to hit the 30, they're going to try to get to the 40 point. But see, bears are trying to prevent possibly, so you're getting that upper wick, but I would wait for bar to close because bulls can still push this higher. But we need a pullback. We need a pullback. Probably sellers around here, they're trying to prevent bulls from closing above the 25, 26 point mark, because if they do, they're going to keep going higher. So 42.50, 42 was it 25, 42.25. It was around here, and market now reversing back up to, we could possibly retest 42.65. Wait, where are we? Oh, we're already testing. Okay, so we are at the 42.65, which is the green line. If we keep getting above that, then market will probably going to reject this news, and it's going to get back up to the 42.84.25, which is the mid-range of the outside bar. Okay, so remember I said yesterday, I would assume market to get back up to here. We're making a detour. First we test, trap the bears, still trying to sell, because it was also the trading range lows. So now they're trying to reach to 65, which we reached. They're trying to close above 65.25, which is that green line right there on this small time frame. If they do that, the daily chart, when it opens, it's going to keep going higher. So we could end up getting a bull bar reaching the midpoint, which is 42.84. 42.84, right around here, upper 1/3, is right where the 79% of this big bear bar. All right, so let's see if we're going to be able to close bar here. And I'm going to try to hold my long. 50% is my target. So it's 29 to 30. I'm going to mark the 30 point, which is slightly above. There will be some profit taken there. So I'm expecting this to move up now. We are rejecting halfway back up this news, but there are sellers here always at the 50% over any gap bar. So this is where you should pay yourself and then leave maybe a 1 contract. You can always add more. If we close above 50, then we would reach the 66. But this is where market is trying to go up to, that green line. But it's only if we close above the 50%. So if you take profit here, that's fine. You can leave a runner, expect 30 point and then 40 point further up above. But there are sellers waiting here. We might need to pull back a little bit. So I'm going to look to see if we can actually test 42.73.75 or 42.74. It's not so far away, which is slightly above the 50%. You're trading the reaction to the news right now from the low of a strong trading range. Anyone who was long there is disappointed. Buying at the lows, I'm looking for a 50% pullback of this trading range. And that is right here. That's the 50%. So we just reached that and we just tagged it. See, I'm measuring the entire range. So 80% probability we reach that. 60% probability we reach the upper trading range. So bulls are rejecting this news. We are at the 30 point now. Okay, I'm going to pay myself here. If we close above it, is after profit taking. I'm going to look to see if we can get a nice 40 point out of this solid rejection. So the 40 point is 39 is slightly above 66. 40 is right there. It can add up another 10 points, or I'm going to say 5 points. Maybe we could still reach this area. So right now we're at the 30 and they're taking profit already, which is happen to be the 50% pullback of the gap bar. I'm only measuring the gap bar here. All right, I took profit here because it is an important area that I could actually sell. Total rejection, not total, but definitely 50% rejection. We closed the bar now above 50% pullback. Now we get another bull bar. It's by the close, obviously. So markets might be trying to reach now 40 points. Let's see. This is where it's trying to reach, maybe a little bit further above 40, 45, 46 above. So that green line is still target, as I said. I just need to see a consecutive bull bar closing here. If we get that, we're already always in long now. I'd like to enter again, but I'm a little bit worried here because these bulls really didn't take much profit. Okay, less than 4 minutes left for market to open and close. So where are we? 42.73. I mean, we're not so far from the close of yesterday now. We are right down here. It's still a big gap down. And we're going to be opening up right around here, which is support. We might need to sell a little bit, come down, retest this area before reversing back up, if we reverse back up. See, where's the second bar? So this is why I took profits. One bar close is not enough. It's still, this whole area is resistance. And now they're trying to sell. Anybody who sold here, disappointed, bad follow through, kind of trapped. They might have sold this bar right there, which they did. So they got a break even and everybody exited out. But if they're still holding, they sell here. Now they're going to possibly average in somewhere around here. They want market to come down. But I'm not so sure if it will able to, because look at this. Buy to close bars, tight bear channel, probably buyers, even if it comes down here. But this is why at the 50% of any gap bar, you have to be careful. Always expect, if it's a bear bar, sellers waiting there. So in order for this to continue to go higher, they need to close above this price. Look, we tested, but we did not close a bull bar above it. So you cannot assume we're going to get to the 40 point. Yes, you can mark it like the way I did, but this is what you need to mark, right? This is part of the point counting. 30 point swing, they're taking really strong profit. Why I took profit? Because I didn't see the consecutive bull closes above EMA for one, and consecutive 2 bull body closes above the 50% pullback. It's also, where was that? Oh, here. Look at the 50% pullback, and we're getting a rejection. Also the weave up, which is a moving average, also rejection. Here's a quick tip for you, which is how I trade the weave up. If there's a huge sell-off, okay, so first touch, you're going to get a deep sell. Okay, so there's an opportunity to sell once, maybe even twice. If it's big breakout, expect a pullback first touch. You're going to get a really nice bounce with weave up. it weakens with the second one, but they will try to sell anyway. All right, so there we go. We are on I'm going to switch to RTA chart. Big gap down. It's looking for support, possibly here, might even down here. We might need to test before reversing, depending on how this bar closes. Support, possibly here, might even down here. We might need to test before reversing, depending on how this bar closes. If it's too low, we still need to pull back to sell. Quite a bit of volatility in the market, so be extra careful. Bears already sold this bar at the open, and they got trapped one tick underneath. It's a tight bull channel. Bulls are buying is underneath the bull bar. They want to go and test the close or the high of this bull bar. Okay, so they need to close this bar as high as possible. And what will happen now, if anybody sold here, their stops are here, okay? If those stops starts to run, if you sold one contract, you're going to have two contracts for a stop, okay? One of them is going to be out due to this, okay? So that's your stop. The other contract, okay, now one left, is going to reverse you, and you're going to start making what you lost here as the price goes up. When this happens, I generally do 3-to-1 ratio or 4-to-1 ratio. If I sold one, I have one for stop, and then I have either 2 or 3 extra contracts. Because I've lost here, I want to make it back, okay, so, and then some, very quickly. Bulls need to close above 31.75 to get a follow through into the 40-point target. It's not so far away. It's actually around 82.25. I'm sorry, 82, 42.82 is 40 points bull target. 2 is 40 points bull target. See, market is looking for 6% pullback, but we need to close the bull bar above 31.75. The target is 66% of the gap bars. That's the upper 1/3, so sellers are waiting there. But I think the market is trying to not only reach the 40 point, it's trying to reach right there. So what was that? I said 82, right? So 82 is target, but we need a close, bull close, right above there, right above 31.75. So this is going to possibly drift higher. Anybody who's trapped underneath this bear bar trying to sell the open, I said this is a tight bull channel. You don't want to sell against it. So they are now entered, and they're looking for follow through first here, but it will be better. See, when I see something like this, I don't like to enter. But God forbid if I entered underneath this bar bearish, and that's what I'm going to do right there. So goal is for bulls to get up here, but we're not going to get up here if we don't close a bull bar. So big gap down. This is the bar 1. There is resistance here, obviously. So I said if this is actually too low to sell, we need to pull back a little bit. Here's the problem with this bar. It failed to close above here, but it is still a strong close. So, but it failed. So I need to see bulls actually closing a bar above 31.75. Not just this bar. They could do that in this bar and the next bar. So I didn't buy anything. I really needed that confirmation for market to get up here. No consecutive bull closes above 50%. They're still trying to sell it. What happens if we get two overlapping bars here? You're going to have a 2-bar breakout set up. So this is what happens. Here is your answer. Look at here. For bulls, we had a trend bar, bear bar right there, and then a bull bar right after that. We have a bull bar. If we get a bear bar, it's going to be the opposite direction, selling. So if the bar 2 actually closes bearish, according to the bar by bar book, Al Brooks wrote, this is your answer right here. So the bears are trying to get a opposite direction bar. You see why I didn't buy? Now everybody's sold above this bar now. Maybe they probably had a white stop, right? So you would have a white stop, but you might have made a little bit there, but there's no bull close. So I didn't buy anything. Now I'm thinking of actually selling. Market wants to, remember I said it wants to probably test right here and see if there are any buyers, 58.25, or the body open, one or the other, either the high or the body. So 57.25 to 58.25, we can actually come down and test. We now have a opposite direction bar. Now, this right here, okay, what they call is an order block. I know you guys are not all that, knowledgeable about that, but what it is it's basically is an order that put in there to trap you. Okay, so when bulls actually reversed above that, this is basically order blocks are Al's breakout retest bars, okay, levels. So when market rejects this, such a great selling, and then traps everybody, and then breaks above it, okay, you don't need to buy this high. This is obviously resistance. You can wait for market to get there, and you look for a good bull signal bar. Then you can buy it. Otherwise, expect that high or this to be tested. That's what the order block is, breakout retest. Nothing more. So for bulls, it's the last bear bar, or you can even you could say, hey, this could be the order block. I think that to me it is. But if we breach 58.75 and close a bear bar, then expect this or the open to be tested. But first here, I look for a bounce, and there it is. You're getting your bounce, so there were buy orders there. But if the bears actually close below 58.75, and we do not get a buy to close of bull bear bar above the breakout test area, then this is the bar they're coming down and test, 53.75. There's no bull bar here. So this could follow through into 53.75, especially if they close a bar right there. So what they're doing right now, they're testing the open, which I said either or. Okay, so they're testing, they're trying to close below it. If they close below it, then they're going to try to close this gap, bull gap, test the high of 53.50. Furthermore, open of this bear bar, and then there will be buyers here probably. So a trend bar, totally reversed. We have measured move there. If we get another bear bar here, that's going to be trend from the open. But the only problem here is that there's it's a trend from the lows. So we might actually breach the October 3rd low, or we're going to get a rejection somewhere here. Now, we're testing yesterday's low. There could be some buyers here, but look at the ATR. I think it's only fair that we reach the measured move. So that measured move is 42.53. If on the our ETA chart, that's around here. So only 2 ticks from the measured move. So this could be still the target if the bears can close that bar bearish here. If bulls keep the gap open, then that's fine. This is all the bears are going to get. And then we're going to go right back up to the high. We're going to breach above the 50%. Like I said, there is no bear bar. Okay, so they did try to sell. If this bar closes bullish, then you're going to be like, okay, maybe I can buy this bar. So you don't know that. Anybody who sold it, they're still selling. They want market to come down to the measured move on the RTH or above this bar. Bulls are trying to keep the gap open because this is, after all, breakout test, and there's no bear bar close below the breakout test. Okay, so basically we're testing the order block. Okay, so what's happening here? They are sweeping the sell side liquidity, and now they're trying to, what does that mean? Well, anybody who sold here, those are institutions, right? And they try to trap, but it could be also bulls selling to trap. It looks like the bulls were selling because they actually breached above it. So now, whatever the money they placed in the market, they came back and grabbed it. Okay, so they're sweeping this area. But they will be only successful to go higher if they actually close a bull bar. So that's why this area is a good limit order entry breakout test. And you can still scalp, and you should be scalping. And then leave a runner. If this bar closes bullish, then expect these highs to be tested and the market to get back up here. But problem with this now, I don't expect this because market moved is way too much to create a new 20-point trend there. It could actually continue to move down, or we're going to get an opposite trend for this, probably 10 points already. Nope. Bulls are still trying to reach the 10 points, which is right there. If they do close above it, we can then go up to maybe 15, maybe 20 again. So this is a brand new trend for bulls. So this is done also. Bears need another bear bar. If they do close it, then this is the target, this bear bar. On the RTH, we tested the low of yesterday. So they found some buyers, but we don't have a confirmation of closing above to get a full rejection and reverse it back up. So if we close another bear bar, then the bears will try to continue this down a little bit further. You got a magnet here. So still not decided, other than we are testing the support that might be tired, or bulls are trying to get a buy signal bar to reverse this back up. So trading range, lows. That is kind of a signal bar to buy, but it's a doji. I'd prefer another bull bar. Because now, why would I think market wants to go higher? Well, look at the bar 3. It should have been a bear bar to create a strong trend down. It's not doing that. It tested the low of yesterday, which is also in the book, okay? And now it's trying to reverse back up. There were probably buyers above 3. They're trying to make money. They're trying to get back up to the highs. I'm not all that excited about this anymore because I didn't get a second bear bar. So market is trying to get back up to the high. Bulls made a 10-point. Now they're going for a 15-point here. There it is. And they might even get a 20-point, which is the high of bar 1. So bulls are actually starting some kind of a bull trend. it could be already a bull trend wanting to get all the way back up to here or high of yesterday. So the next target is the high of bar 1. Okay, so we're testing bears 1, a double top. We're way below the EMA. So think of this gap is a one big bear gap. Okay, so there are always overhead resistance here. Bears want to double top and they want to reverse it back down and still test this area. So you are in a trading range, okay, opening range. And we came pretty close to the high of bar 1, but not necessarily there. So I don't know where this bar is going to close, but this is actually a profit taking of the 15-point swing. Bulls actually overshot the 15-point. Let's see, how many points did they shot? 71.25, 73, almost 2 points, 1.75 they overshot it. But if they do close this bar bullish, we could continue to go back up. But because this is a trading range, so there are sellers above the bear bar. They're disappointed. They are stuck here. They're selling. They're getting an average price to break even. If this bar collapses and does not close bullish and suddenly closes somewhere near the close of bar 2, then the bears will try to sell it. So it's very undecided, and the bars are moving super fast. And you're in a trading range environment, so all you can do is scalp, not expect swing right away. However, we might also, let's see, we might actually maybe go up here, get a double top there, and then we could swing perhaps if bears want to take the prices down further to my trend line, or on the hourly chart, break this support and start selling into this area. We could very well do that. It's already a double top, and failure to get bull bars and failure to get above bar 1, bears will try to continue to sell. So that's still a double top. They're buying low, they're selling high. So all I can do, look for about 10 or 15 point grabs. And in that 10, 15 point grab, I'm not going to be able to grab the whole thing, but definitely we'll get 5 point there, 5 point here, as long as we're still in a trading range. But if we close another bear bar, so that means we could actually break down and get to that measured move that I had earlier. So I think market still try to get to this. So that's the leg 1 pullback. Can we get down to that? I don't know. It's a nice bar 4, but it's still trading range. Probably sellers under that bar already entered, but I don't like the small body. If you entered, your stop is up here. Okay, so you're looking for 1-to-1 somewhere down here. It's trading range. I don't like to sell with stop orders. I need another bear bar. I'm staying out of this because we're at the low. This is still support. It's a trading range, so it's support also here. It's very dangerous. So market hasn't really picked any direction here. But if we get another bear bar, then it could be a double top bear flagged, and I would definitely want to sell it, but it hasn't set up yet, so it's going to go back and forth, back and forth. With ATR being 8.75, that's a lot of pullback in a small trading range. I can't afford that if I have a small account. So I have to wait. Because if I sell right now and the bulls show up, look, they already sold underneath 4, but it's trapped again. And this is the second time bears are trying to sell, not able to, go further down. So if this bar now closes bullish, I might buy it, but it's just back and forth. I don't want to. So I haven't sold. I've been buying and taking profits. But if this bar now closes bearish, now I'm going to be interested. So anybody sold underneath for their stops are still here. Wider stop. They're looking for a 1-to-1 down here. But it's still not decided. They're scalping. They want to break the bar 3 low and get a strong bear bar. I didn't sell it. I need to see the bear bar close. We're still hovering around low of yesterday. Could we get a wedge here? So we're going to get a breakout soon. We get a micro double bottom. We get a double top. We now get another double bottom. So you got 2 double bottoms, 2 double tops. We're going to get a breakout soon. That's going to probably double the amount of this trading range at the minimum. So anybody sold below 4 had to endure this pullback because it's a trading range. There's stop here. They're still looking for market to come down and test the October 3rd low, but they're desperately needing the second bear bar here, closing on its low with a bear body. If they fail to see that, they could exit out, and we get double top, double bottom, and that would become already looking like a breakout mode. It's some kind of a barbed wire situation going on. So you have to leave these institutions a little space here. They will test the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows before they make a decision. This is why when I see too many wicks, smaller bodies, but the wicks are really large, I don't trade this environment. It's better to wait. There's always a trade. See, where's the bear bar? It's not there. So now bulls want to go higher to 42.6750 to 68.50, but it's still triangle. You're still at the apex of the triangle, and it's not, to me, this is not tradable until I see one side is printing better bars. And bulls might start to show up here if they can actually close a bull bar. Then we would have 2 bull bars that could get us back maybe up here. I don't know. But right now it's 1 bar trading range, kind of contracting. Bears want to test the 55.75. So they can. That's also the low of 3, almost, maybe a little bit lower, 1 tick lower. $56.75 is 9 point for bears, and they want 55.75s. So it's more bearish than bullish. Now they're coming to the measured move. Okay. So anybody sold maybe underneath here get a little bit of heart attack kind of symptoms. But if they put their stop slightly above, that's their 1-to-1. Okay, so they might still reach there. But there's also the magnet here, the October 3rd. We just reached my target. We actually reached 1 tick below. 55.75 was my target, but we went 1 tick under. So everybody who wanted a 10-point scalp, they got it. Okay, so bears got this, but is this a breakout now, right? So this is a double top bear flag. This right here, I said, is an overhead resistance bear body, so we need a bear flag. We might have a wedge here, small wedge here, down on this, up on this down on this. We might go back up, maybe come back down and test here, get a wedge, and then reverse back. I don't know. Right now I didn't buy. I saw the 10 point. They were trying to push. I quickly sold and scalped right before the 10 point. And that was a very quick scalp, but it's actually dangerous to do. But I kind of realized what was happening there. Okay, so we made a low, we went up, and it closed another body. So it's obvious they're selling underneath 4. But it's really bad because you're not getting a follow-through bear bar. So since we're in a limit order market, probably sellers up there, and they try to sell again. Body close, so it's like, what's happening? We went up, and then bodies started to come down. I said, okay, we need to test the 10 point. Then that becomes support, and it's going to bounce. Can the bulls now go up to their 10 point? That's at 68.25. So bulls want to test 67.50 to 68.50, not 25. But they're going to have to close a bull bar. So it's a lot of back and forth. Double top, double bottom. We're going to get a breakout soon. I just don't know which side, because there's nothing here other than this strong bear bar. But even that didn't get continuation. So I'm just trading within these 10 points. 2 points there, 3 points here. That's all I'm doing with ATM orders. I get in and get out very quickly. We might reach the EMA, but right now I'm more interested in the 9 and the 10 point mark. So the 9 point mark is 67.50. So we just came one tick close and didn't really tag. Let's see if the bulls can actually finish the job. Still very dangerous. Just be careful. They're trying to get to the 68.50. Actually, I'm sorry, I was wrong there. 65.50 was 10 point. I was actually measuring the 13, 14 point there. I'm sorry. Bulls actually did reach the 10 point, but I measured it wrong. Now, can they still go higher? Anybody sold here, disappointed, selling again, might be breaking even. If this bar closes bullish, the 10 point is going to be around 42.69.50. For bulls, it's going to be around 69.50 or 70.50, but we need a bull bar here. So it's a lot of back and forth. I think it's best that you guys stay out of this. But if you are long, here, this is how I measure. I measure from here. That was 9. That was 10. Okay. I was apparently measuring 14 points. Sorry about that. But here is 14, 69.50, 63, 68.50 was the 13 point. Can we still get there? I mean, we could not only get there, we could also get to the 15 point. But this, I am going to stay out of this. I really don't like this kind of environment. This is still a double top, lower high bear flag. Market is still trying to reach down to here. I think I'm going to stay out of buying until I get some kind of a confirmation here. Otherwise, I think they want to sell and get a double bottom or something. And if we get that double bottom, then I might be inclined to buy. So this is just too fast for me. And I mean, it gives me 2 point scalps so fast. I actually go half the ATR. So I'm able to get minimum 4 point scalps, if not more. But so I'm between the 2 and the 4, I scalp half of, like quarter of this, and then leave one for half. It just gets there very fast, but it's kind of dangerous. So we're getting closer to double bottom neckline, a breakout point. Is for bulls, they want to test the 4 high and they want to break out and get to the EMA. We might actually, EMA is now lowered. It was up here, it's now here. We could easily make a double top there and start to swing if we get another bull bar here. What happens if we get a bear bar? Well, that's a bear flag, double top, lower high. So we need a bear bar that takes out the 6 low. Then that would be 1 pullback, 2 pullback. We could get a 3 down. So I stopped buying, and even buying was not really swinging. It was just quick scalps. No, it's just moving too fast. Yeah, this is, okay, so the bears are trying to reach the 10 October 3rd low. If we close a bear bar here, it's possible. Market is still selling this pullback, excuse me. It's still selling this pullback. But where are the bears? Could this become a micro wedge bottom, bull flag? Well, if we start to get bull bars, for sure, we could get right back up here. But if we get a bear bar, we're going to find ourselves down here. So it's still not clear. But you can see this wedge, possible wedge bull flag, or it's just going to accelerate and sell all the way down here. Really nice close inside bar. It's in breakout mode. 5, 6, 7. 7 slightly closed, bearish below its midpoint. So they're selling because it's a double top lower high bear flag. So the goal is to get to the measured move. We came 1 tick close, or we're probably going to try to exceed, come down here. What happens if we do not close a bear bar and then suddenly we close a bull bar? Well, that's going to be failed breakout. Failed. That's because the 15-minute chart might actually print micro wedge bottom bull flag. Okay, so just be careful there. They're already front running that. So that's 53.25. That was 54. I don't even care about this anymore. If we can actually close a bar, we're definitely going to come down here. But if they start to accelerate and take out the October 3rd low, this is where we're going. I need to see it because it's still struggling here. Next scalp target for bears is 52.75 to 51.75. But this bar needs to breach 42.55 first. And it could quickly reach the 52.75 to 51.75. So bearish, but I am worried about this right here. If we move under 43.55, I'm sorry, 42.55, bears can quickly get us to the 52.75. I didn't sell this bar because it's still trading range. But if we do close one, that's going to be sell into 51.75 probably. It's going to be sell into 51.75 probably. We don't have any news schedule for 10 o'clock, but it's still a news bar and it closed bearish. Target is 51.75. And then the October 3rd low. Okay, we just reached my target, 51.75. But we're so close to the October 3rd. Although, have I gotten that right? I might be wrong there again, because I was kind of rushing to put that line there yesterday. Oh yeah, I'm a little bit long there. Just 1 tick or so. It should be 25. It's a 1 tick failure, but target met. I think it's going to come down a little bit more. This one's done. Now that's your new measured new target if the bar actually closes very bearish and breach below the October 3rd low. If we close below the October 3rd low with a really strong bear bar and I get a follow through, this area is going to be target for bears. But sure, it's really bad, bear trend, isn't it? Now, daily is actually reached the mother bar or the outside bar's low. Bears want to keep selling. They want to take out that low, Tuesday's low, October 3rd. And they want to come down here, okay? So they want to extend this before trapping. Right, so that bar selling right now could bounce from there and suddenly get back up to these levels. Or it's going to keep selling into 42, 30, 36 area. But first, I think there's a high chance bears will want to test the 42, 44, which is right here. So that's it's half R, half the reward. Now, 42, 35, this one says 36. It's right around here. So this could finally sell, but I need follow through. So good, strong bear close 8 might get a follow through here. Next target for bears is going to be 42.50 or as early as 51 if they can sell right here. Follow through. What if we don't get a follow through? This is not a good breakout, bar 8. Yes, it's a bear bar, but it's also a wedge. Down on this, up on this, down on this, up on this, down on this. And I did say I would like to see that is third push down. And we got that, but we need a follow through. Even though it's a breakout, it isn't a very strong breakout, bar 8. And the lower wick is kind of strong. So how bearish is this? To me, it's bearish because we've taken out the prior bar's low, which is 7. So it will be better if we can actually get a follow-through bar. Follow-through bear bar could bring us down to 51 and 42.50 area. If we don't get the follow-through, then I'm going to start looking for bull bars because there's a wedge here and a test of 8 high. I don't have that yet, so I think the bears are still trying to sell. 2 bear bars. Anybody disappointed selling underneath 7 or the close of 8 will sell up here above 8 or the upper 1/3 of 8 and try to get a break even. And the bears, you see how this jumped down? So some quick thinking bears might have already started to sell, trying to get a break even. Some are probably up here at the open of 8 and high of 8. Because this is still a breakout and a pretty strong bar, and they're disappointed now. I didn't sell this. I took my profit a while back because I said this is not all that strong. I needed to see a really nice bear bar closing on its low. We didn't get it. We're getting a bunch of wicks and bear bar, bull bar, bear, bull, bull, bear, bear, but a bad. So I'm not interested in this. So there's a wedge here. Now the market is trying to get to the 6 high. See? I don't know what's causing this bar to reverse other than technically this is a wedge. And look at this. I have warned you about this. This right here is a micro wedge. Although we dipped, but it's still technically a wedge. And if the bulls actually start to close above EMA, we get, okay, low 1. They try to get a low 2. If they fail, we could go higher. So they have to close this bar as low as possible. So anybody sold here, they probably sold there as well. So originally you sold here, trapped. You sold here. This is your break even. We made it there maybe. I don't know. I don't think we did. This just accelerated. So those bears, they put another sell order, right? So now, okay, they sold here, right? So this is their break even right there. They might even have already got a break even earlier because now they're with multiple contracts. That's why that bar just tanked. Okay, so, but I'm not going to sell against this bar. I don't need to break even, so I don't like this bar closing like that. So that was first sell. That's technically still a second sell, but on the 5-minute, I see a bar like that. It's still trading range, and I am done pretty much selling. These bears brought the market down to that break even pretty close. They could still sell and get to that break even, but I'm not going to touch this. Because if the bulls now show up, because you got a bar that actually engulfing 1, 2, 3 bars almost, maybe more, may want to go higher, but the bulls need to close above open of the day. If we do close above open of the day, we might become bullish, but there is still a break even to be performed. So if you sold there, you were here, that is still break even. Other bears, they're looking for a bear bar. Once they get their bear bar, they will then find their break even spot. But these are the limit bears selling. They already got their break even, I believe. So I'm not sure where this bar is going to close. But so far, that's the target still. There you have it. So they got their break even. If they do close the bar below that, goal is to get back down to here, because technically this is second sell. Really bad one. But because it's the second time is market went below the bull bar. So if they cannot close a bear bar and suddenly we go higher, then this is it. The bears are going to exit out of the market, and then we could go higher. Go higher. So in this kind of environment, I am super picky of what I do, but let's take a look at some of these. Let's see. Okay. So you can see we have a wedge here. So do we. Okay. And the market is now trying to reverse back up. Here is that bull bar. Here is the bear bar. Oh, it was almost a bear bar. But we could go back up to that and get a possible double top, but we need to start getting above the open of the day. Can the market start to swing from here? Can we become bullish for the next couple of hours since we are still at the supports and a good place to buy? Well, I need to see some bullish pressure. This is a nice bar, but still, is this an official 3 legs down? Leg 1, pull back. This might be the leg 2, and we may not have made the leg 3. So I count it as down on this, up on this, down, up, in the same bar 6, and then down. But other bears will look at this as, no, this is a complex leg. This is the first leg. This is the second leg. Therefore, we need the third leg, and we might still come down. I don't know. If we get the bull bar here, then I'm going to look for market going up and maybe getting a double top. So in order for bulls to show up, we're going to have to close the high of 9, bar 9. So I am flat still, slightly more bearish than bullish, obviously. I'm hesitating buying anything. Bears got what they're looking for, which was break even. But if we now come down and take the bar 8 low, then we will be more bearish. Okay, so we'll make more bearish gaps to the downside. Right now we have the gap. Bulls want to go above that, but not a good bar to buy. This is what I was hoping to get, but we don't have a second bull bar. So we might be in this sideways. Bulls could still show up sideways, but the moment we take out the bar 8 close, then we're going to take out the 8 low, and then we might actually get a new wedge. So I'm going to watch this until it folds out. Can we become very bearish? We're already gapping down. This is where we are. Look, we're already selling. If we get that small pullback bear trend, like that right there, we could stay bearish all day. I would definitely look for some kind of a pullback to EMA. We would definitely go and test the EMA, but really keep in the market for several hours, gap down from the EMA. First pullback will sell, second pullback will sell. So this is not a good sell, small pullback bear trend here. It really is not. So what happened? Well, that low right there is bears selling the highs, breaching the close where they originally sold. Because I said bar 8 is a strength bar. It is a good bear bar, but everybody's disappointed. So when something is good and you sell, you're going to sell again, and the goal is to get it down at least to where you sold. They breached below it, so those bears actually, you know what, we made money by selling higher. We are now out. If this bar now closes bullish, where was that chart? We can now, look, this bar came in, right? Came very close, then the bulls showed up. Now, it's a similar situation, but the bulls now need to close it very strongly bullish. If you don't have access to Brooks Encyclopedia, get it now and study it systematically. Big gap downs, big gap ups, gap downs and double tops. There's several different versions. Now, how can I buy this? Is there a way I can actually buy this? I need to see bulls actually close above bar 9, close a bull bar, then I would be definitely interested in. My target will be 42.69 to 42.70 area. I just bought it. I bought right there. And I want to see if we can actually get to the 42.69 to 42.70. I bought with 2 contracts, scalp 1, and we just tested about 42.69. So this is good. But I think the bulls are going to go higher. There you go. If we close above 42.71, we're gonna then try to get to the 4 high and 1 high. Okay, so there you go. Can market become very bullish suddenly? Can we actually start a Walmart trade? Well, it's actually trying to set up one right now. But this is a leg in a trading range. There are sellers waiting here. So I'm taking still profit until I see a range breakout. If an opening range finally breaks out, right? So I think this might be the whole opening range here. But generally, it's the first half hour. So you would measure like this. and that would be your measured move. But this is still leg in a trading range, 1 bar, very risky bar. If you buy this bar, your stop is here or you get a white stop. Okay, so this is where I would take profit and see if we can get a good breakout from this small range. Okay, but that would be the measured move target. But you need to follow through bull bar. So it's a breakout from this little trading range, pull back, and that's your measured move, right? So, and it could go higher. We just need to follow through bull bar. But to me, this is a trading range, and therefore there are always sellers waiting up there. So if I'm buying the bars, I'm expecting key price level to hit, and then I take a profit. And if this follows through, that's great. Then I'll add back more. But if it doesn't, and suddenly we pull back, that's not good. Because if it starts to collapse, that's too much pullback. Market's trying to reach the 42.75 probably. If we do breach the 42.75, meaning bulls close, the next target, it's going to be 42.79 to 42.80. That's where the bulls are trying to go. But this is a leg in a trading range. But breaching, getting a really nice bull bar here. Target is, I would scalp 42.75 and look for a bar closing above it. If it closes, then stay above. If it closes above 75, hang on to your long. It's going to go very quickly to 42.78, 75, or 79 area. Okay, we're testing the bar 1 high. Technically, it's a double top, but we get a bull bar here, we're going to keep going higher. But we need a bar that closes above 42.75. I did say the target is 42.75. You needed to take profit there, because it's still a leg in a trading range. It's still a double top from the EMA, possibly even triple top maybe. But we get another bull bar. We start to gap up more. Your target is going to be 79.25, 79.50, maybe 42.80. Only if we close above 42.75. Otherwise, I'm not touching this. I already scalped, so no. Unfortunately, Encyclopedia is not downloadable. But first of all, there are so many charts in there, and it's L's hard work of years of homework. So last thing we want is a tool that valuable to be circulating freely, sent from one person to another one who doesn't care to pay for it, which is, what is it, $199 for lifetime access. I think people should just think of their future and just purchase it. If you have the course, you get access in 60 days. I mean, that's amount of years of work that is put in there, maintained by multiple people in the team, taking their time to update. We will definitely not going to make it downloadable. And you can only understand, right, why it wouldn't be downloadable. I sure wouldn't want my work, hard work, to be circulating freely the internet. So, but you can certainly purchase the access for $199. I'm a great marketer, aren't I? Yeah. Here we go. 42.79. 42.79. We just tested. Beautiful. Now, why did we get there? It's because 12 actually closed. So we are now in a breakout. But let's see. Do we have a breakout here? Well, 12 is not a breakout bar, believe it or not. This is the breakout bar. So eventually we will pull back, but I think the market could go higher. Here is your measured move target, 3 bar. If we get the third bar closed like that, you have 3 gap bars, and that's your target. That's where the market is trying to go. 3 gap bar measured move. I know I was very smooth there, She-Hulk. I mean, how can you resist me as a salesperson? So just buy it. Here we go. We are almost there. 86.50. But the next 20 point for bears, I'm sorry, 14 to 15 point for bears, I'm sorry, bulls, 83.50 to is 84.50. So we're going to test there and we're going to pull back. I would recommend you guys to take profit around 83.50. If you want to hold it all the way to 84.50, be my guest. But there's also moving average right here. We will pull back. I'm not sure if we're going to get to this measured move. We've gotten very close to it. This bar closes bullish, we will get there, but it has to close bullish. We tested the 13. We should get to the 14.8375. We might even overshot the 84.75. So if you're still holding, hold it, but I would still, this is the magnet, I would still scalp around is 83.75. If you have multiple contracts, just scalp there and leave one for 86.50 test, because that's your measured move. All right, here we go. And that's your measured move. We just reached one tick above 83.75. So that's a success if you held it. I keep making mistakes when I'm calling the numbers. It's because I've been up since 2 a.m. I didn't get any sleep at all. I don't know why, but I was very wired, I guess. So I'm running on a lot of coffee and adrenaline that pumped by these bull bars, but I'm going to do my best to, I know it's probably not a good thing to say something like that, but the reason why I'm jumbling up my numbers is because I really gotten a very little sleep. But this is a very exciting price action. Is no double top, and we trapped the bears. Look, we trapped the bears. They exited right there, and then close. Just don't look back. Just buy. Okay. So I said if we get a bull bar, then this is going to go even higher. Keep buying. Bulls are still trying to get to the 86.50. Opening range. Bulls right there. This is the opening range, measured move target, so we could actually continue. In fact, I think we're going to go and test the high of yesterday. So let's see if we can actually follow through into the Asia mid. Asia mid and midnight open for US, literally at the same spot. So this is where we're going, everybody. First, the Asia low. We're just about to test the Asia low, which is 84.50. And if we actually breach, this is right here is target. But it is also very strong from here to here, 93.42.93 to the Asia mid is where the sellers were present. Okay, so that makes it a very strong sell zone. There will be sellers waiting here because they sold there. They will probably going to sell again, maybe here, maybe in between here. So we have a little bit more room to upside. The only problem here for bulls is that 5-minute EMA is below the 1 hour EMA. So we might actually go, come back down, and then get another leg up. So still very bullish. Target is 42.85, or it's going to probably overshoot the 85 because ATR is nearly 8.5 points. So if you're still long, hopefully we don't get a micro double top here. We're going to exceed that high. What bar is this? Bar 13 high. Target is still 86.50. I'm going to scalp that. You can hold it all the way to close of yesterday, but be careful. There might be sellers there as well because we are so close to the news bar sell point that it gotten very, very strongly bearish. So scalp and hold some. This is great buy to close. Is measured move right there. Market could follow through, but I think there are some sellers at the close of yesterday. Did we get my? Oh yeah. I mean, look how accurate this was. I'm very excited about this. Look, it's 86.50. I actually scalped one tick under. I always front run it. Now, we have bars are getting smaller and we're getting upper wicks. So we're losing momentum here. That's because market knows that this is profit taken. How did I get there? It's a 3 bull bar gap. So I measured that gap and projected the high, and that was my target. There's more room to upside, but first these bulls need to take profit. We tested 15 point and beyond, and we tested 42.85, which I said that you should hold, and they're taking profit. In order to continue higher to the 20-point bull location, which is 89.75, we need a close of a bull bar above 42.85. We get that, then we go higher. But the problem here is that sideways of EMAs, that puts us a little bit sideways price action. We might need to come down and test the 5-minute EMA. And then there could be buyers right there. If we, well, close of yesterday is magnet. Remember, I said 42.85. If we close a bull bar, we're going to keep going higher. 42.89 to 42.90 area, which is 20-point bulls. So this is amazing. We have measured move target to the upside, also target. High of yesterday is target. We might even get 2 times the ATR. I'm sorry, 2 times the opening range. Opening range. Should get that from the 6. So that's 1 time is that's 2 times. All right, this one's done. Okay, we closed above, so now we go higher. We closed above the 42.85. Next target, if bulls can actually manage to overshoot 42.89 to 42. 20 point is 89.75. Come on, bulls, you could do it. You just came so close to it. Don't collapse here. We don't need a bear signal bar. But look where we are. We reached my key area, which can act as a support or resistance. In this case, resistance. But we might also overshoot somewhere here. Sellers waiting. Pretty strong. Might be 55. So bulls will try to hold us into the 20 point. They've done a terrific job, so getting that 20 point is only fair. At least tag the 19 point, which is 88.75. So hold it until you get either the 88.75 or 89.75. That's terrible that we couldn't get there. Well, we could still, after this pullback, we might be able to, but we need consecutive closes. But I did say, because of the 5-minute EMA is below, they will try to pull back a little bit. 20 point is still above. And we'll pretty much want that, so. I think the bulls are still trying to continue further up to 19 to 20 point area, 88.75 to 89.75. Just waiting for bulls to finish this job and get their 20 point. Can it collapse here? Would you have two bars closed above the 1 hour EMA? Inside bar, but it could break out the high of 15. Here we go. Let's go. 20 point is 89.75. I want the scalp somewhere in there, a little bit below that, just to pay myself. It tagged my exit order, but didn't process it. So I'm going to wait for 20 point solid tested, which is one tick above where I am. I'm at 89.50, and the market didn't really test the 20 point, which is a shame, but I'm going to wait. But the 20 point zone is tested, so this is still successful for bulls, and they are scalping here. Other bulls, they want to close above the close of yesterday, and they want to get to the opening range measured move target. So this is profit taken, and it could still close above close of yesterday. We have two consecutive bars, but I did say watch out. This is resistance here, and there are sellers waiting. So you should have taken profit. Kind of a good sell signal, bar 16. There might be some sellers underneath. If we get a second bear bar, some bulls will expect market to maybe come down to here, pull back. These EMAs are parallel to one another, extremely close to one another. It's obvious that the 5-minute EMA wants to cross above. If that happens, we're going to get even bigger bull bars. But this area is a sell zone. This is where the selling happened. So probably there are bears here, there are orders here. If we don't get another bear bar, then the market is going to try to get back up to the 16 high and see if they can actually test that 20 point this time. I'm out now. I scalped. I'm not sure how this bar is going to close. Anyone stuck here probably bought the low of 16, trying to get a break even. Because if this bar closes bearish, we come down. And the target for bears is going to be 42.8075 to 79. I'm sorry, 80.50 to 79.50 if they close a bear bar here. If we get a bear bar, then the target is 42.79.50 to 80.50 area for bears and pull back. But no bear bar, then bulls can still get above the close of yesterday, and we can find ourselves at the measured move target. All right, here we go. So the bears want their targets scalping starting around 80.50 to 79.50. Let's see if they can actually make it there. They should be able to, because those bulls already started to scalp out. Probably buyers underneath 14, bar 14. So scalping will begin around is 80.50, but because the ATR is 7.5 points, it might actually reach the 10-point solid, which is 79.50. So really nice close. I like to see a follow through here. Looking for follow through, just a little bit at least. But some buyers were already at the 14 close, open, or still underneath 14. Bears want probably the full 10 points, so we should test the 79.50. Just tested one tick above. Actually, 2 ticks above. So here we go. All right, excellent. So good job, bears, for claiming their 10 points. I did sell the close right there. I didn't sell underneath 16 because I wasn't sure, strong, but still it's a really good sell signal bar. This is I sold and I took profit. We're overshooting the 10 point. Market could continue into the EMA here. There's a breakout test, and can we actually overshoot into this area? I don't know. There are probably buyers here. There's a gap here. There's a huge gap. I did warn you about this pullback. So we overshot the 10 point, but we didn't close a bear bar to continue into the 15 point. These guys are now taking profit. But the moment we close a bear bar, bears can continue to come down and test the 76.50 and possibly even is 75.50 area if they close a bear bar. If not, we can then go back and maybe try to close this gap with bull bars. Bar 17 is a gap bear bar. I think we will need to make new highs to have a wedge top. So I think market wants to buy and test here, then get a reversal back down. If we fail to reach the opening range measured move target. So anybody sold, that was their 1-to-1. If we close another bear bar, that's good. Otherwise, we're going to try to close that bear gap above. I took profit at the 10 point, so I'm flat right now. But if they do close another bear bar after this pullback, or sell, this would be a pullback and sell again, sure, I'll sell. But I don't want to sell against this. There's a major gap here. Market wants to probably keep it open and wants to go and test this trend line, maybe overshoot it before making a double top and a trend reversal back down. Bulls are trying to close that gap now. You see what's happening there? Because they want to get another leg up. So this is really nice bull breakout, and market wants to get back up to here. So you needed to take profit. If you didn't measure EMA was your target. Can the bears still sell this? Well, this is a pullback, but it really is a strong one. I don't want to sell this because I think the bulls looking for a 9 or 10 point here. So 66.75. What is it? 66.75 is 86.75 to 87.75 is their target. So we might need to make a double top. So I would like bulls to actually bring us back up. 86.75 to 87.75 is a 10-point target scalp for bulls. Excellent. I just scalped that. I didn't sell anything here. To me, this is strong bull bar, trying to close the gap. It kind of did unofficially with that wick. So this is my target. I scalped there and I'm holding a runner. I want to see bulls actually get us to the high and give us a breakout. So if we do close above 87.75 to 88.75, if we close a bull bar somewhere up there, there will be bulls entering looking for somewhere around 42.92 area test. So probably high one here. So let's see. It's actually high one, high two. It's unofficial, but so they're buying above this bar 18, and they want to follow through to the 16 high, and then test of. I'm gonna mark 92, but it might actually test one tick below. So give or take somewhere here is where they're trying to tag. Bears, they were selling, so they're disappointed. They're two bear bars, so they're trying to sell at the highs. They're still trying to get some kind of a second leg, but that's only because they have a good premise, good area to sell here and bring it down. But this is bullish, and I think the market is trying to reach here. I'm still holding to that runner, but if this bar closes bearish, I'll exit out. If it closes bullish, I will add to it. So my goal is to reach this area. So it's kind of leg one, pullback leg two already. But because they're stuck here, they're selling this bar 17 high. They're getting a break even. If these bears actually exit out of the market, we will get up here pretty fast, in fact. Okay, so that right there is very successful. They will probably gonna try to get to the opening range measured move. So if you're still bullish, I would pay myself here, which I did. This is a breakout. I don't like the way that this bar closed, but I warned you. That's why I put that 92 there. And I said I'm expecting a test of this trend line. You can see the way that the bar opened, it's not good. I'm not very happy with this. So profit taking is very strong. Now I'm not happy for you guys, but I have already taken profit. I put a line there, price line. That means I am committed to take profit. It's up to you to take profit or not, but be prepared for a deeper pullback. It's a breakout, which is nice, but look what we're testing. This is still target. If we can close a bull bar after this pullback, this is contraction, next bar can still get up here. You can hold a runner, but you should have paid yourself pretty handsomely here. Okay, look where we are on the Globex. I said this area, sellers are waiting. We're testing, which is nice. Closing a bull bar above the mid-Asia and then taking out the high of Asia, we can actually reject these bears and keep going higher. So it's good for the bulls if we close above 92 with a bull bar or above this trend line. Expect a test of 42.97, I guess. I don't know if I actually measured that right. I mean, I did, but let me double check my work. $96.50, so I was 2 ticks off a little bit. So little bit of contraction inside bar, could be with trend. So just wait for this bar to close. Bulls got a little bit more space to the upside here, so let's see if they can actually Here we go. That was profit taken. So now we go. Now we go to my target 96.50. Let's go, bulls. You can make it. It's only fair. We've done a terrific job here, staying long. So might as well, let's get this target 96.50. We don't have to stop there. High of yesterday's magnet. Market wants to test and make a new high, and we could easily do that. So if maybe we'll let me see. There's a leg one, leg two. We might get even another. Count may have began here. We might get another leg that goes up here before coming back down. But 20 point is 97.75. Opening range is right around where the 19 point opening range measured move. I think it's best that you guys really pay yourselves as it gets here. Okay, so, and then expect a pullback. Now, here is what could happen for bulls. We may not get a pullback. Why? Look at the 5 EMA. When a 5 EMA starts to cross 1 hour EMA or 200 EMA, whatever you're using, suddenly we get huge bars. Okay, so watch out, market. That is the target. Whew. We will take that to the bank. Let's go. High of yesterday, magnet. We just tested the target, okay? Opening range, measured move. Now let's go. Let's go to the moon. High of yesterday's, but you should pay yourself here no matter what. But if you do close above opening range, then 1.5 right around here, maybe we get a pullback. So we might keep pushing into this area. But opening the week, open of the week is also a target. It's now a magnet, in fact. So market is very bullish. The next pullback, we could still buy and go with another leg up, almost the size of the first leg, in fact. So I think the market is trying to reach the open of the week and the 23.25. But this is phenomenal. Oh, wow. How you guys doing over there? Everybody's holding their breaths. I mean, I did warn you about this Walmart trade. I said we made a wedge here, but maybe this is a truncated wedge or wedge, higher low, beautiful buy signal bar. Even though I said this is a leg in a trading range, but I said if we do close above the 75, 42.75, then we're going to get a measured move and you could just keep buying. I kept paying myself at the levels, scalped, added back on, scaled in to the winners, and now this is where I paid myself. So I'm going to look for a quick pullback and see if I can enter once again. Now that I'm flat here, I'm going to take a quick break. I need to get some fuel in the form of coffee. I will be right back. I am so sorry about that. Sorry about this, guys. Sorry. Okay. So what I was saying is, although we have been in a trading range, but I think the market sold enough that it's getting ready to break out, and I've got a much bigger target if we start to get big bull bars here. Not only that, okay, once the 5-minute 20 EMA crosses above the 1 hour, we're going to get a lot bigger bars, can get us to the open of the week. And if we start to get above the open of the week, we have a measured move. But we really need those big bars to say that this is a cup, or this was a cup, handle, and it's going. Or a cup, so call this a cup, rounded bottom, needs a pullback, and then go higher. So we could still go higher. You see this upper trend line, which I had it from yesterday. Actually, that's not accurate. The one I had from yesterday was this. So this is a bit lower because I was trying to be conservative. So we break this resistance. These are the targets. But it's still a trading range highs. We've been going sideways, and here, this trend line is target. Market is finally trying to get above the 95.25. And I think we're going to finally get to this 50 EMA. That red line is 50 EMA, right where the falling resistance line is. So bulls are trying to get to that level. But we need to really take out this resistance first. Once we take it out, we get to this level. We need to test thoroughly above the 50 EMA. Sellers are probably there because we are still in this trading range. So it's not that easy. Okay, so becoming bullish, going and testing these highs. Bulls got a lot of work to do here. Anyone who sold here, they sold again, but they might have been out now. So you got cup, another cup, and market wants to probably test the 50 EMA on the hourly chart. Now look at this. I did say today, at the low of the mother bar, or the outside, inside, there are probably buyers waiting. Now, we didn't sell all that much, but we sure tested the Tuesday's low, right? So Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and that's October 3rd low. But look what happened. This is still a buy zone. Bulls will try to prevent a breakout. I'm sorry, bulls will try to prevent a bear breakout. So where are we going now? If you look at the daily charts, this is my target right there. I would like to see follow through and in fact get above it and even test right here before we come down. But can markets stay bullish and get back up to the high of the outside bar? Well, we need on the 5-minute chart something happening to start that process. And that is the crossover. But market has been rotating. Okay, so you can see they're buying the lows, they're selling the highs. So this is still resistance. But the moment we get above it, I think we will end up getting to this level. Very excited to read that, Mad Dog, and glad you had a great week and enjoyed the webinars. I will see you next week. That's a great observation. A member on Discord said, if one is humble, it's virtually impossible to lose money following the trade room. I mean, would you agree to that? Not to put anybody on the spot, but yeah, it looks like everybody's agreeing. I'm gonna agree too. Sure. No, there's democracy until I come along. Until I remove somebody's post from the Discord. If you mess with me, your post will be disappearing randomly. Wait a minute, I posted that 2 weeks ago, maybe last week. It was yesterday. Why is it not there? What did I say that upset Rose? Yeah, I started delete spree. Remove, delete, remove, right click, ban, kick, mute. Someone's got to do it. All right, bulls are still pushing. We're just about to cross, but we're at the high. So if we close above high of yesterday, that's going to be phenomenal for bulls. We're about to cross zone. There's possibility that we could get another push up. So the next target for bulls is going to be the 30-point, 43.0775. But it's the high We've got an inside bar. It's actually IOI. It's a breakout mode. So I like to see one more push to the upside before we trap the bulls, if we trap them. So there's probably a breakout coming up, but be careful, is bears will try to trap the bulls due to this trading range highs, okay? So where they're trying to go is probably this right here. 07. They're trying to go in here. We tested above higher yesterday, no close yet. There's still room for bulls to push us all the way to 43.05 and 43.07. 30-point bulls is 07.75. So go, let's go. Let's not hold up the line here. No bottlenecking. Come on, bulls. Probably some sellers at the 43.05. It's an important area for machines, which I call it a pit stop. So there are always some sellers there. But ATR is 650. If we do overshoot, target is that yellow zone. We will pull back because this is the third leg. Leg 1, pull back. Leg 2, pull back. We're in the leg 3. Sometimes leg 3 can be almost the same size as leg 1. Okay, so look at that beautiful reach. Oh my goodness. So we just reached my 30 point. It's 07.75. I did say we're going to get there. Look at that. I mean, this is just beyond beautiful. So hope you guys held it. Look at this. So open of the week is magnet. There's this leg is measured. That's the target right there. So 2-time the opening range breakout is also right there at the open of the week. But there will be some profit taking here at the 30 point. And you can see that upper wicket started to form. So what you can do here, because it's such a big bar, it will probably gonna get follow through because it's got targets above, but it's also a very big bar. So why don't you just pay yourself, since this is the third leg up, and then hold a small contract, a very small lot, to reach the open of the week. But look what's happening here. We reached the area. Why did I measure that? Why did I mark that area? Look, because it's the gap. So we know there are some sellers there. Happens to be the 30 point. So the machines will scalp that because it's exceeding the 20 point. It's trying to get to the 40 point. And we could still get to the 40 point. That is 43.1775. 17.75. Market is trying to push towards there. And that is slightly above these open up. Look how everything is conversing right here. The opening range 2-time measured move is open of the week, 40 point trend target. But this is a very climactic, not climactic, but actually maybe parabolic 3 push top, wedge top. So it will pull back eventually. I would still hold a runner here. Bulls are still trying to reach the 17.75, 16.75 area. Some bears are present here because this is a gap. If the bulls close this gap, open of the week, we're definitely going to test it. So why ignore the 50 point is, I'm not ignoring the 50 point. I always go for 40 point. 50 point is if market makes 40 points and closes above 6 point more, then it's definitely going to want to go to the 50 point. It doesn't have to stop at 50 point. It can get additional 10, 20, 30, another 40 points. We can get 80 points, okay, today. But I don't know. I'm counting. So I have to go with where the bars are closing. If they're closing at the levels that I mark and then beyond, then I'm looking for a follow through. I don't have to exit out of my long. Nobody knows if it's going to go 50 points. So I'm finding areas that could be a good magnet for price to go test, and they're all lining up around this area. Oh, sorry. 50 point from the bar 11. Oh, you're asking why aren't you measuring from there? Well, look at the low of 11. 1 point, market was actually pretty bearish there, right? So where did the bulls actually show up? The breakout. It's the way that I'm measuring is actually advanced, okay? You don't know this. I've never shared this information because it confuses everyone. Market was bearish here. Look how much they sold, because eventually bears actually collected there more than 10 points. So this is nice, but this area, this is not where I'm measuring from. So I'm measuring somewhere around here, and I'm looking for a 40 point just about there. Is maybe even a little bit higher. Or where did I measure? I think I originally measured from there, but look what the bears did there. They got another 10 point plus. So you can measure from there. That's your 40 point. Okay, so there was a bear trend there. They took profit. I started measuring from above here. Then I said I'm going to measure from this breakout, which is advanced. But we reached some of the targets. You can also measure from here. If you measure from here, we reached a 30 point somewhere here, but we never closed above 36 with a bull bar. Then the bears took over, so you no longer measure from here. You measure from there all the way to there. So there is a bear trend, reset the count, and that's where you are. It's still going to the 40 point. So we're just about to reach that 40 point. Beautiful bar. We do not need to stop there. If we close above open of the week, we might actually keep going, but 40 point is 40 point. What else is there? Well, there is 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. Pretty strong bar. One of the biggest bull bars in this leg. This bar is bigger than that body, right? Not bigger than that. So it probably will get follow through, but be careful. I think we might actually come back down from open of the week. Now, gap is closed, so you can still hold this into the 40 point. Bar 22. No, that's a 7 point. It didn't reach its target. It has to hit minimum 9 for you to reset. All right, here we go. We're just about to test the 39, 40. Might go a little higher, maybe test the 41, but this is where you should pay yourself handsomely. Open of the week is still magnet. 2150 is also leg 1, measured move. Opening range, 2 times the measured move, also met. Wow, that's pretty good, huh? What a great day. bit of a resistance here now. Bears might start to show up soon. We may not go all that far, but it's still pushing. So if you start to see a strong bear bar closing on its low, you might exit underneath that or the close of it. Profit taking could accelerate pretty fast, and the market could actually sell 10, 15, 20 points. But I don't know that, obviously. We could also keep going higher, another 10 points. So there is no bear bar. Why would you want to exit, right? You still want to hold it until you get the signal bar. There's nothing here that you should be worried about at the moment. We are testing above the 50 EMA on the 1 hour chart thoroughly. Now, can we get a rejection hourly bar and sell a little bit? Maybe retest this and then go higher to the mid last week. Last week's mid range is 43.2925. That's the next target. $21.50 target. We're just there. Very little. 1.5 points. Here we go. What an amazing day. My gosh. But look how much we gapped up. This target met, that target met. Now this one, can we get to that one? And we met this target. Can we get to that one? That's that upper trend line of expanding triangle. So some will hold. But if we start to get an upper wick increasing very quickly, I mean becoming bigger, large upper wick on this bar, suddenly maybe the last minute, last 50 seconds or so, that will look like a fast profit taking, but no one's really selling at the market to take profit. So we might get a exhaustion bar here. Just be careful. That's where they're trying to reach, 29.25. So could be measured move also this 25.50. Okay, so that upper wick now started and we have 50 seconds left. That's what I was trying to hint. If that upper wick becomes a lot bigger, that means everybody's getting out at the market, paying themselves here. But if obviously the bar closes on its high, some will buy the close of it, but if it closes below its midpoint, then you know profit taking is strong. But if it closes on its high, we might still continue to go higher. This is still target. So that's a decent close for bulls. But that upper wick is larger than 26. But still, there is no sell signal bar. I'm not going to sell anything here until I see a close of a strong bar. This is an inside bar at the moment, but you don't know how it's going to close. We'll still have a target up here, which is last week's mid-range. And then the measured move target, 43.27, still magnet. I'm going to open the question box for you guys. Okay, question box is open. I'll go to webinar. Yep, we do have a Fed member scheduled to speak at noon. So I don't know what she's going to say, or he. I'm not sure. I forgot. Let me see. Christopher Waller. Yeah. So he'll move the market. Just give me a second here. Must have closed the encyclopedia. Market is still going higher. I would late this AM, but you touch on opening range being measured from bar 1 and 6. Yeah, first 30 minutes. Yep, so it is. I think that's a statement, not a question. So then that would be an accurate statement. I excel in trading ranges, but I have strong trending days. I feel prematurely trapped out. Like every bar is too high to buy. What advice do you have for me, Rose? Good question. You have to take a look at what's happening at the open. Okay, so at the open, market likes to test high of yesterday, low of yesterday. Okay, so take a look at the strength of the bars. If market is giving you some kind of a wedge, whatever, double bottom is, and no decent selling, we're at the low of yesterday, below that, we're not able to sell, we're going to reverse. So we're going to look for some imbalance bars, such as bar 11. Now, we did call bar 11 a leg in a trading range, okay? So possibly leg in a trading range, and the bears could show up with a double top. But the problem with bar 11 is so big, and it's already gapping up. And I said, if we get a follow through a bull bar, then we're bullish. You should buy, and you should look for a high of yesterday, close of yesterday as magnet, maybe 1 hour EMA. So try to find the magnets. If you're having hard time, but you see a good strength in the market, in the bars, closing on their highs, opening right from the close of prior bull bars, even gapping up at the open, you should be buying them right away. Good close, okay close. It started to form an upper wick, but it's forming because there's a magnet here, which is the 1 hour EMA. So that's because machines know that's a resistance, so they're paying themselves. But there's nothing bearish coming after that bar. Bar 14 fills that upper wick, becomes very bullish, and closes bullish. Obviously, now you need to look for consecutive bars closing above magnets, such as 1 hour EMA. 14 and 15 are those bars. But we didn't close another bull bar. Yes, we did, but not above 14. So there might be some profit taken there. We reached another magnet close of yesterday. That's where I said, if this is a good signal bar, especially if we get a second bear bar, there will be profit takers that could give us a 10 point, which it did. It was around like 11, 12 point. That pulled back with 16, 17, and 18. But look what you're selling against. Look for where you could enter after you give these bears take profit with 10 point. Look, there's a gap here. It's probably buyers right there. There's a gap bar. That's the gap bar, right? The last gap bar in this trend. So around the 50%, there are buyers there. You could enter, or you can look for, this is first sell and it goes up. That's basically a high one. And then that's high twos. You can buy that. If you didn't buy there, then buy that bar. You're long again. This is a contraction. That's an inside, outside, inside. is, I'm sorry, I could be wrong there. Nope, that's not an inside bar. It's a trap, but it's a bull flag. It's kind of an implied. So, but you can see that's a micro wedge. 1, 2, 3. That's a wedge bull flag. You can go to 2-minute charts. It would be a lot more visible, right? Look, micro double bottom, or up on this, down on this, up on this, down on this, up and down, but higher low, go. So high 1 is high 2. Or if you count from here, high 1, high 2. Okay, so high 3, high 4, blah, blah, blah. So look for bad follow through for bears. Look for limit order entries, right? So, and then just keep entering with the breakout bars, especially if they're strong like this. Look at this on the 2-minute chart. Look at this. It's telling you this is going to keep going higher. So there's nothing to sell. If the gaps are open, you can have a chart open with line. Look at this gap. Look at that gap. You can measure this gap, in fact, from here to there. That would be, hold on, let me get rid of this. We met that target. Look, so I'm measuring from here. I'm going to measure there, but I don't like to put the stop there. You can put the stop here. That will be your measured move. Or you can use that area as your stop, and market is still going. You can go for 2 to 1. That's your 2 to 1. Did we reach to 2 to 1? Yes, we did. 28, 25 is right where we are right now. So you can also measure the gaps with a stop at this higher low. Look at this inverse head and shoulders. Look at this bull flag. Look at this bull flag. So they might even buy this pullback one more time. But look where we reached. Probably sellers here. Be careful. Okay. Now, on the daily, you also need to look at your targets. Remember what I said during the recap? I would like to see market actually go up here and then sell. We did the opposite. First, we found support, and then we're now going back to my target, which is right there. This is where bulls are trying to reach. 123%. That's their target. This is where we might actually finally start to come down. There's not much there. That's 32.50. I think we're going to reach there. So keep an eye on this. As long as the gaps are open, you can look for strong bull bars on the candlestick chart and just buy them, right? So, especially if the bull bodies are filling these upper wicks, that means that's momentum. Keep buying. Wow. That's another one. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing today. That's a Walmart trade right there, which we talked about. Next. How did you first study BTC? How long did it take? How long did it take you to feel confident in your trading journey? Is once I start to withdraw, withdrawals, sure, I was like, okay, I'm confident. But it's so easy to make mistakes. I started to become confident when I learned how to scalp, how to position my stops the right way, how to identify where the stop placements should be. Market is trying to reach the 3R. Hold on. Or that. So 2R. It's trying to reach there. That would be follow through 43.3750. We already reached this target, but we might actually get to 37.50. Anyway, so I mean, I already knew how to trade the S&P oil, but once I started to study Brooks' methods years ago, it just resonated with me. I thought it was very easy because I've tried everything. I've tried indicators. I've tried the weirdest methods possible, fundamentals, combination of 5, 6 different indicators put together, trying to make sense of that. I would do great. I can create a trading systems by using 2, 3 different indicators, and I can tell you exactly when to buy and sell, and you would still walk away. That, I think anyone can do it, but you have to spend time and back test it and find some consistencies. There's so many ways to trade. But I think is the only consistency I started to get day after day is once I started to study encyclopedia. After taking the Brooks course, understanding how open structures, understanding how midday trades, understanding how end of day trades, and constantly looking at RTA charts. Okay, so I look at the RTA charts. How did it open? Was it a trading range? Did it sell into a support? Did it find buyers at the support? Was it a high to buy? Where did it go? What's the magnet? I would go back in time, say I'm going to trade this day. Okay, it's October 5th. I would do my homework. I would go into the encyclopedia. I would comb through the slides to see, especially the daily setups. We also have a daily setup tool. I would look into that and find something similar, and I would try to project the next day, see if I can actually get a similar price action. And most of the time you will get it. These days have variations. But as you train your eye, you kind of get the idea. I know exactly what this day is going to do, and that's what I'm going to trade. So that's my homework every night, every evening. All right, so we reached this. I believe this is February 2nd high. Yep. But I think we are extended way too much. So I'm going to wait a little bit more. We'll still reach the target right here. So that's basically the new. But I'm going to mark that as already done. Where else can this go? I think it might actually go to the 66%. It's really exceeding. But we will come down. So watch out. So you have to really practice. I practice every evening, every weekend. I keep going back to the course. I keep going back to the charts. I would study certain hours, like end of the second hour, around 11:30 a.m. What does market do common? What is the most common price action? When does swings set up? Is it 10 o'clock? Is it 11:30? Is it bar 40? Is it 1:30 p.m., which is bar 50? If the swing sets up in certain fashion, how many bars does it go? What's the minimum amount of bars I should be in trading, right? So you have to study those. I studied common behavior of bars going into a certain amount of point, and then taking profit, and then reversing, and then failing to start a trend, and then resuming the trend to the original direction. I study that, and that's point counting, but I've been studying that for years. Once you find these kind of consistencies, every day it's easy to make money. I still make mistakes. I lose money, but the idea is to not to be stubborn and not to lose so much. So keep the losses to minimal. Learn to move your stops. So you entered here. I said this is a white stop. You don't want to put your stop right here, but it's a risky, right? So market could come down, but it didn't. So you can just move your stop right away here. We take out that high. We come back and make a new higher low. We take out that 16 high. So what are you going to do? Is basically I learned to find order blocks, such as bar 17 is an order block, right? So you put there, buyers are waiting there. If there's a gap a little bit open, then we're going to go even higher. So find those. Order blocks are basically pullback bars. Okay, there are decent size, but fails to go, okay, sell more or buy more. If it's in a bullish trend, those are pullbacks, but really strong bars, but they get rejected. Immediately, if you're in a bull trend, mark the high of that bar, look for a pullback and go. Okay, if they keep the gap open, then put a buy stop right above 20 and even enter with that one. Now you have this one right here. Look, it came back. You can also measure where the bars open. This one here, there's a gap here. Now put a buy stop order. They maintain the gap. They close the bar up here. So we're going to now go higher. And what else is there? Like for bears, let's talk about that. Bears, this is the bar, maybe that one. So I'm going to put one right there, and I'm going to put one right there. And I'm going to put if market actually breaches that, breach with 43, I'm going to put a sell order right here. I can sell again, but if it closes above, you can exit out. Now, where can you enter again? Right here. There's one. I'm going to put it there. And there's one right there. So look, we broke above 44. We came back with 46. We left a gap. Now look for the bull bars. Bull bar. Now we got above this. Look, another bull bar. If you still haven't entered, your buy stop should be right above the 47 and 48. It comes in, is actually okay, so it opened here, came down, still kept the gap open, now closes above, enters you into trade, and you're long. So same thing here. So it's last strong bear bar. You can put one line there, one line there. Look for a pullback. If bear bars are not closing below these, you can buy above any bull bar. Look, yes, they close the gap, but it's actually a negative gap. Bars are not overlapping. Another bull bar closes. Put a buy stop order above 60 and buy. So identify those. Here's another one. Look, market is coming down. Last bull bar. The close of the bar and close of the bar and the open of the bar. Market is down. There's a huge gap. We're never going to get up there. So there must be something else here. You can just keep it there. I'm going to mark another one. Look, right here. Right? So here's the close of the bar. Here's the open of the bar. We broke it with 16. Right? So, there's another one right here. This one broke 19. I want to sell again when it gets there. Look, if I enter right there, I make money with 22. But once it actually breaks above it, you are done. You're now looking to buy. So what are you looking for? You're looking for bull bars like this one, right? So 22, I'm going to mark that. I'm also going to mark right there. I'm going to look for market to come in. If the bears are not breaking below the open and the close of that bar, that means they're buying, right? So I'm looking for a second strong bull bar, and I'm going to put my buy stop order above it, right there. You can enter as early as there, or you can even buy above these bars, and it goes higher. So that's how I reverse very quickly. As you find all of that is common, and you're going to be entering the trade so very easily. And that's my little tip for you guys for this week. You can actually go practice it over the weekend. It'll be super easy to locate who's selling, who's not able to sell. Oh, this is a really good bar that is failing, and that's I'm going to buy the pullback, or I'm going to sell the pullback. Anyway, these questions are growing. Okay. I bought 11 high with 20 point. Hold on, guys. I really want to trade this. If you can just give me a second here. Bears might be looking to take profit around 29.50, 30.50, 29.50. If they close a bear bar here, we might actually come down a little bit. Maybe test the lower 1/3 of bar 30. Buyers are probably there. So this is a bit of a resistance here. But if the bulls actually take out the high, that's going to be a problem. Suddenly we start to collapse here. Bears need to move. Is underneath bar 31. They can sell into 30.50 or 29.50. But this is a very climactic. Now, pullback could be deep, okay? But there will be buyers again. It's been, this is bar 18, 28, more than 20 bars. So we are due to form a trading range. Okay, so pullback could be deep. All right, so I'm going to delete this a little bit. Maybe not this one, because every other target is met. I'm going to get back to the questions. I just want to make a little bit more money here. Very bullish day. Bulls are buying every pullback, but we are due for a good pullback here. Could be a 9 or 10 points, could be more. But I think the target could be as early as 30.50 to 29.50 area for bears. Okay, that was excellent. All right, now I can get back to the questions. I did pretty. What? It on what? Okay. Some of my accounts didn't really trade and some of them did. Something weird happening. All right. Why did that happen? Oh, I see. All right. 29.50 is still the target for bears. Okay, all right, great. Now I fixed it all. Perfect. All right, let me get back to the questions here. Ed says here, I bought 11 high with 20 point large stop. Wow, 20 point. Okay, below bar 8 with target of 1R. Bar 11. Okay, so you went with that white stop. So you put your stop somewhere underneath the bar that you actually bought. Yeah, you could, but here's the thing. This is the breakout. Okay, so that's your 1-to-1 target. Came back, then you could say, now I'm going for a 2-to-1, right? And that is the 2-to-1. Look, they get there, it goes sideways and starts the breakout. And then buy above 23. Here is your 3-to-1. Here is your 4-to-1. Did we do the 5-to-1? And here is your 5-to-1. It actually went a couple ticks above to fill everybody's 5-to-1 risk reward order. So your question is, after bar 16 bear bar, okay, so which I said there would be probably sellers underneath, and if we get another bear bar, some bulls will take profit, but there are buyers, limit buyers underneath 14 at the midpoint of gap bar 13. I had stop move to below bar 14. I'm sorry. You got a 1R, so that means you entered at above. Your stop was underneath but you didn't even reach 1R. So how did you even buy? So your 1R, okay, so you put your stop here. Even if you put your stop here and you bought this bar 11, right? That's not 1R. I mean, that is 1R, but oh, I'm sorry. I must be tired. All right, so you reach the 1R, then you move the stop underneath 14. You don't have to move it underneath 14. You could put it underneath 18, right? So, but then got scared, so put it to break even. Was this a good decision, or should I have stuck to my stop and got out? I think I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm just going by what you did there, because your 1R is right here. So you're holding. Your stop is here. But look, we took that high. So there's a money stop called, instead of leaving the stop here, you can actually put your stop somewhere in the middle of this gap bar. Okay, so instead of keeping it down here, you can keep it here. Because we have taken out that high and we're going higher. Now we come down, right? And then we take out this high. Now we get a follow through. You didn't even have to exit out on 1R. You probably didn't. But you're looking for a good place to now take the stop, moved from here to here. Now you can move it underneath here. Once we take this high with bar 19, we come down. That's a pullback. Then we take this high with 24. You can actually tighten your stop and put it right underneath 22. But to me, that's too close. But at this point, I'm going for a 2R, right? So where's the 2R? And I should get that. That is the 2R. And we actually exceeded and closed above 2R. So market is trying to go to 3R. Your stop should be underneath 22. Well, now we took out the 22 hard, and we have breakout follow through. You can take the stop from underneath 22. You can put it either money stop or maybe somewhere underneath here. That's the climax bar. Use the, I'm sorry, not climax. Use these strong gap bars. It is a climax bar. Look at the way that it opened and the way it closed. You can put it underneath there. And as we take out that high, we get a follow through. Now you can put it underneath here. As we get to the 3R location, look, there's a pullback here. We took that pullback out with 28 high. Now we get a follow through 29. Your stop should be right here. As we reach here, now we're getting to the magnets. Okay, now your stop is probably underneath here. So really strong bear bar, follow through. Do not wait for market to get down here. Exit out right there. So hopefully that helps. Did it help? I mean, was this what you're looking for? I did close the commenting, so you're probably not going to be. If you can comment on the Discord, that'd be great. Okay. Hi, Rose. What would get you to buy here? Oh, I'm sorry for being late to answering this question. That was 11:56. So you asked the question here, 11:56. That was bar 29. It's the 3R or whatever the targets that I had before. Market is still going. I said there's no bear bar here. Really strong close 28. There will be buyers to close or one tick above. They will keep adding to it until they see a strong bear body. This kind of trend needs to go sideways eventually. But before seeing any kind of bear bar, you can buy every single bull close here. It's all buy to close, buy to close, buy to pull back. There's even a discount entry 28 pullback, but because this is a gap bar 27, 50%, they bought it with a limit order. So it's just buy, buy, buy. But it is too high. You're buying too high. I have more targets to the upside. Can we actually get there? 3 bear bars. Unfortunately, we're probably going to get another leg down. But we might need to go test the high before coming down, or we're just going to, this pullback is going to sell because bar 33 is very strong. We might need to get another leg down. What's the biggest point they run up or run down you've ever seen? 120 to 140 points on ES. So we were pushing for that was 3 times 40 points. And these kind of things were happening back in when COVID. Trump was president. Every day was a trend day when Trump was president, but it wasn't a good thing. It was my colleagues and I, my old job, we were shaking like leaves. I mean, there was one point, I'm working with this guy, his name's Carlos. I really like that guy. And we're all talking, these admins, and the guy said, you know, every day I can't trade this. This is psychologically, it's affecting me. Every day is weird. I can't read the price action. It's just too volatile. I said, this is actually true. It really is very volatile. Every day is a trend day, but it's just so violent. If it's going 40 points one way and it's going to 40 points the other way, I mean, it's because there's always a China news, okay? There's always some kind of trade news. It was just so engineered and it was so manipulated market. We were so scared to trade. So many of us actually switched to micros. So we would actually make money with micros. But, you know, those with the iron guts definitely traded the E-mini. But in times like that, I remember seeing 40 points trend back to back to back 3 times. I'll never forget that. But that's the highest one. And that was without the news of regular price action. It was insane. But anyway. It's not a healthy thing. You do not want that kind of I remember Al is talking in the room. He was always something to say. I can feel the exhaustion or aggravation in his voice because every other trader was complaining. You could talk to any trader. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I can't read it. It's just swinging every other bar. Like, how do you trade this? Yeah, when that happens, switch to small micros or small lots, okay? Lower the contract sizes, keep the risk to as minimum as possible. Anywho, next. How often do you see days like today? You can get these kind of Walmart trades every week. You can get one. So let's take a look here. Look at this one, right? Look, it tested, found resistance, and bam, sold. That's pretty strong, and I went into sideways. So this week started, so week start with 2 9s. Let's go back to, so 25th, 18, 25th, 2 and 9. So 18. Let's take a look at that week. Okay, week started right here. There's one, it's not that all that good, but look. Measure this. That's 8. So here's your trend. That's a 20 point, not all that good. But then you get this right here, and then it reverses back up. So you are getting good swings, right? Here's another one. Look at this one. Good swing started with bar 50, 48 and 50, which is one of my favorite trades, and that is nearly 40 points. Look, there's always one to trade, right? Look at this one. Look at that one. Again, bar 40, beautiful swing, 30 points, right? Let's see. Look at this, all day long, even the pullback. This is one of the hardest trends. When the trend is stepping down, but the pullbacks are so big. This is one of the hardest, and you don't get it all the time. You don't get it unified like this or uniform like that. So it's one of the most difficult trends because it throws people off with such deep reversals. You think the market is reversing, but it's not. So those days are rare. These are rare. Here's another one. It's higher low, double bottom, inverse head and shoulders. Yesterday's price action plays a major role in order to determine when the Walmart trade is starting. So study the last hour or hour and a half of prior day, find your support and resistance, and then look for a good swing. Right? So yesterday's high tested, you get a trend bar, but then opposite. So they try to sell it, but look at the bar 2. Bar 2 is an inside bar. It's not an opposite bar. So it's not a bull bar like this to go up. Okay, so or if this was a bull bar, bar 1, and the bar 2 was a bear bar, then we would have sold, but we didn't. Bar 1 is a bear bar. You get an inside bar. Bears try to sell and fail. So now you go back up. That's your opening range. Double top. Now it sells. We're no longer maintaining or sustaining bulls above the high of yesterday. We come to the high of yesterday. So there's probably a wedge or double bottom. We go back up. So the opening range is extending. But then there is a triangle breaks. Look at that. Now you look for probably a bar like this will get 2 legs down at least. That's a 20 point, I would say. Anything more than that, they couldn't close a bar beyond 22. That's just extension. But then measure this. That's that resets the count. Is you're going to have to now measure here. That's another 30 point. But you see how rare is, you could get something similar. Look at this. This is a Walmart. You can get something similar. But this, to me, is sometimes there were times that you get moves like this every week, once a week, or every other week you might get, or once a month. Now, there's also another one that it never touches the EMA. It goes and goes and goes. It's not just the 20 bars. It goes 40 bars, okay, and never touches the EMA. And by the time it's ready to touch the EMA, it comes very close and then goes right back up, keeps the gap open. That means you're going to look for a new high. Then you're going to look for finally a touch, and you're going to look for another bounce. So this day is probably going to make new highs, and this pullback will be probably bought. This is now the second leg for bears. Okay, so they're testing a breakout area. They're finding buyers there, and we may not come to the EMA. Even if we get a third leg down, we are not having any gaps. Bears are not having any gaps. So this, what you're seeing here, is actually a bull flag, not a head and shoulders. This is a bull flag, leg 1, pullback, leg 2. Maybe we get a third leg down, but be prepared. If the bulls actually keep the gap open, we're going to go up. We're going to make a new high. This is the target right there. That's the measured move target. Then what we do is it's a spike, pullback, up, up, and then we start to come down. But even at the EMA or under the EMA, we're going to get bulls. So I think the market is going to try to either close the day above the EMA or at the EMA, but not under the EMA. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking might happen today. So I'm going to keep looking for new highs as long as this gap is open. This is going to keep going and going and going and going. Even if we get the third leg finally touch, there will be buyers. Then you're going to expect our market to go. If we cannot make a new high, we will either going to make a perfect double top or double top with lower high. Then, okay, we're going to come down. Everyone's going to buy under the EMA. We're going to go back, and then we're going to make a lower high. Then the major trend reversal could begin and bring the market back down to 50% measured from this low to that high. We could end up actually coming here, maybe go back up again, and then, I don't know, we could close at the EMA or under the EMA. But if we cannot make new highs, then expect double top, lower high, bear flag, and then 50% halfway pullback, something like that, which I've seen this day play out. But most of the time, it plays out as gap is open, bulls make a new high, and then the third high, and then the major trend reversal with several legs down to the EMA, but the buyers are waiting at the EMA or below the EMA to buy and bounce and get a new high and close the day that way. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the encyclopedia files. Biden is speaking right now about China, so watch out. I think I answered all the questions. Give me a break. Okay. All right, so we'll take a look at this. This is a small pullback bull trend. We have a much parabolic, okay, trend here. So we're a lot more bullish. So chances are we're not going to get this. We're going to keep the gap open, and we're going to make a new high. Trying to find chart that I was talking about. Okay, here we go. Here's one. Although you can see it's parabolic, it keeps going higher and higher. It comes down to the EMA, makes a double bottom, and buys. This one came in with leg 1 pullback, leg 2 pullback, leg 3, or leg 1 pullback, leg 2 pullback, leg 3. Buyers made a new high, and it comes down to the EMA. It closes right around the EMA, but underneath the EMA. Chances are we will close above the EMA if we keep the gap open today. So that is the third leg I talked about. But notice something is there's no gap. Bears are not able to have gap bars, so they're not all that strong. So this is just a pullback creating a wedge bull flag once again. Unless they start to sell, something causes a major sell. But right now, I don't see it, so I'm going to expect trapping the bears and going and making a new high again. So here is another one. We keep the gap open. First touch buys again, makes a new high, and then we close underneath. And that could be that 3 o'clock, because 3 o'clock there's a major news is scheduled. That could either buy or sell again. It's not as parabolic as ours, but you can see several legs down, and the buyers did show up, so we trapped the bears. We made a new high, but couldn't sustain it. Now we have a 1, 2, 3 wedge. We come down, but the buyers show up, and we close above the EMA. So notice how they try to keep the EMA gapping to the EMA open. Here we go. So strong buying, first pullback, immediate bounce, we make a new high. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Try to make a channel there. We came down and tested that. See what I was teaching you guys earlier? Is here's a bear bar, right? So that's right there what they call order block. But what it is it's a bad sell signal bar. Anybody who sold it stock. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a line and you're going to look to see if actually they're buying above it. Yeah, they're buying. Good bar. Keep buying, right? But when it comes down here, if the bears are not able to overlap with this bar and they keep the gap open, buy above that bar right away and target the prior highs, possibly measured move. Okay, so that's what you need to do. For bears, look, is they started to sell. This is that bad signal bar, aka order block. Somebody took L's work and repackaged it and sold it. So there you have it. Now mark that bar, wait for a pullback. Okay, so you can sell. If you see a good sell signal bar, you can sell. None of these are good. Now it's a tight one bar tight trading range. Here they sold again, maybe. This is first entry sell, second entry sell, right? So they sold it, but no follow through. So what are you going to do? Is you're going to mark that if we get above it. Nope, that's not the bar. Now this is the bar. You're going to mark that. Okay, so hold on, let me do this again. You're going to mark the open. You're going to wait for market to come to it, test it. That's your limit entry. Stop entry if the bar closes bullish and you're long. You're targeting the highs. Okay, so that's that. Similar thing right here, but it's going sideways. Right. So here's bears couldn't sell. You can mark that. You can mark here. You can buy limit order. You can look to see if we can actually close above it, but it's the end of the day. It's completely died. But you see, it stayed bullish. We made a new high. We come back underneath the EMA. Buyers showed up and closed the day bullish above the EMA. So that's what I'm looking for. Gap down on bear trends. Nope. Gap down and bull trend from the open. Okay, that makes sense. So here we go. So we're above the EMA, but it's not us. So even though it kept making new highs until it got a major trend reversal around 3 o'clock. That's not us. Here is similar, but they got the area pulled back a lot earlier. Managed to make a new high. That's a wedge. Ours is probably 1, 2, and 3, or 1 pullback, 2 pullback. We might get another leg up. After all, this is still the target. Nope, those are deep pullbacks. Okay, can we get a trend reversal? Now let's take a look at this. Can we get this kind of reversal all the way back to the open? All the way back to the open. How would that set up? Look at here, gap bars, bear flags, right? So head and shoulders, it's there. If we start to get a head and shoulders with bear gap bars, look, that's a gap right there. There's a gap with that wick and the body, that's still gap. Okay, so what are they doing? Look, bad. They bought this, but that now became a bad signal bar. Mark that. If you get a good, you can sell with a limit order, or if you get a bad, really good strong bear bar, you can sell and swing, right? So that's how you can do it. And head and shoulders, more gaps. So now we're coming down all the way to, we've gotten these days, but we're still very, very bullish. that is the third leg down. Bulls already showed up. So let's see if we can actually take out the 37 high, get back to the highs here. It's trying to form a bear flag. It's trying to form a bear flag right now. So it's almost as similar to this. See, we're getting a bunch of gap bars, buy strong closes, buy the pullbacks, buy strong closes. They're still trying to make some kind of a bear flag here. But as long as I don't see this kind of gap bear bars underneath the EMA, I have no intentions of selling this market. All right, I am done with my session. You all have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone. Oh, wait, Monday is a holiday, I believe, and we are off. So I don't think anyone's scheduled. But let me check real quickly. Wait a minute. Tim is scheduled for Monday. What is he going to read? Does he know that in US, I think we're off, right? Okay. I'm not going to trade that day because the volume is going to be so little, and it's going to be a half day probably. So, but we'll see. But there's always a trade, right? Anyway, you all have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.